Well, hello and welcome to Lessons in Leadership. Bill Storm here with you. And this week, we're going to continue our study series of John Maxwell's book, Leadership Gold. We're moving on to chapter 5. And the title of the chapter is Never Work a Day in Your Life. Now, remember, there's 26 lessons in this series. So you're going to want to be sure to like and subscribe to the channel right now so that you're notified when the next lesson becomes available. And of course, if you missed one of the first four, please go back and review those at your convenience. Also, if you'd like the show notes, if you'd like the leadership training workshops worksheets, that I put together, if you would like the biblical alignment check to see if what John says lines up with God's word, and of course, the teaching video of today's lesson plan, please shoot me a quick email at billstorm@billstorm.com, and I'm happy to send them your way. So this is a study series. What I do is I go through and I read the chapter and I write down copious notes, and I list out a few key takeaways that I want to share and also some action steps for you as a leader. But it's up for you to discern whether or not what John says rings true to you. It may not. Just because John says it doesn't mean that it's gospel. So we're going to go ahead and dig in, and I'll share my own personal thoughts and comments on this. But again, this is up for you to study yourself to see if it's going to fit with your leadership style. So here's the question. Have you ever thought, if I could only find work that felt like play, something that ignites my passion, my purpose and energy rather than drains it? That's what this chapter is really all about. Now, I know that sounds great. Boy, if I could just find something that felt like play all day long, that would be amazing. And it reminds me of a story I heard about Bon Jovi. And Bon Jovi says, when I get up there on stage, people think that's so glamorous, right? But that's only about 5% of what I do. So what ignites me to do the work, the hard work, the part that isn't so fun, the other 95% is that 5 minutes where it is play, right? So my passion, my purpose drives me to work really hard behind the scenes in order to be able to do what I love to do. So put some thought to that, right? What's that? What's that saying? Something like, no work and all play makes Jack a dull boy. I'm not even sure if that's true. That was like something that just popped into my head. But basically, what that means is that in order to produce something great, it's going to take work. And what you have to do is you have to get to the point where you actually enjoy work. I know with me, I don't want to work all day, all the time. But when I do work, I want to enjoy my work. I want to be passionate about my work because that way I'm not counting the hours. I'm not looking for a way out, right? I'm very, very focused and I work really hard on it until I get the outcome that I want, until I'm done, right? Then once I've completed it, I feel fulfilled. I feel good about what I just did. So it's not about counting hours. It's not looking for when's my next lunch break. It's not like, is it 5 o'clock yet? Right? We want to transcend the ordinary by aligning the work that we do with what resonates well within our head and within our heart. Okay. So here's a few key takeaways from John, and let's see what he has to say here. Passion transforms have to into want to. Passion transforms have to into want to. So John says without passion, tasks feel mundane or even burdensome. So John argues that when leaders pursue what they love, the work, right, the work becomes a meaningful journey rather than a chore. So think about that. How many times have you said to yourself, oh man, I have to do this today? And when you say I have to do something, that means you're forced to do it. It's something you don't really want to do. But imagine the difference if you get up and you're like, okay, here's what I'm working on. I can't wait to dig into this. This is something I want to do because I know I can make it better. Right? The difference in your mindset makes all the difference. Takeaway number 2, leverage what energizes you. So John says identifying and cultivating your strengths, right? Focus on your strengths and then match them with your core interests. When you do that, you create a powerful synergy, and this enables you as a leader to operate from your energy zone, from your zone genius, as I would call it, rather than dragging through the day. You're not forced to do something that you don't love to do. Instead, you're taking what you love to do and what you're great at, and then you're using that superpower towards the attainment of the thing that you're trying to get done. Takeaway number 3, intentional life design. John says, loving what you do often requires adjustments, repositioning your career. Maybe it's learning a new skill or inviting new change. So John is great like this. He doesn't really sugarcoat this. He said, aligning your career with passion may demand real and deliberate shifts. I will tell you, I've gone through this multiple times. Especially as I've gotten older, I've started to look at the things that no longer serve me or that made me anxious, things that I no longer tolerate, because what you get in life, or what you tolerate, right, is what you get in life. So if you have that feeling that something isn't right and you're not passionate about the thing, you don't really love the thing, you're just doing it because that's the only thing you think you can do in order to pay your bills, right? That's a ticket to nowhere. And it's going to take a major shift in your thinking and in your actions and in your courage in order to do something different. And I have plenty of experience in doing that. So if you are stuck in that area, please make sure that you reach out and let's have a conversation around that. And key takeaway number 4, enhance leadership through authenticity. So leaders who are authentic and passionate, they inspire trust, they inspire creativity, and they inspire engagement, because their energy becomes contagious, elevating team morale and performance. Zig Ziglar said it like this. He says, enthusiasm is contagious, and so is the lack of it. So what kind of energy are you putting out? Because you can't expect your people to be giving you the kind of energy that you want if you're not displaying that kind of energy yourself. All right, let's take a look at some action steps that you can take. I've got 6 of them for you. Okay, so whether you're a seasoned executive or you're an emerging leader, or even if you're a solopreneur learning how to lead yourself, these are practical ways to embody the principles of never work a day in your life. So number 1, take some time to reflect on what actually energizes you. Take some time to be still. Take some time to be quiet. Spend an afternoon with a journal, right? I've got a journal, performance journal. I've got Zig Ziglar's performance journal. Love it. Spend an afternoon journaling. What tasks make you lose track of time? What challenges excite rather than intimidate you? Identifying these can shape a purpose-driven career. So in layman's or a little bit more simple terms, write down all the things that makes you anxious, that you don't like. Write those things down, because usually those are a sign of you doing things that are outside of what your strengths are, okay? And then write down all the things that motivate you, that get you pumped up, that you like working on. Write those things down. And if your life condition, if what you're doing in your career or your business doesn't line up with the things that you like to do, well, you know you need to make a change. And the only way you find that out is by reflecting. All right, number 2. Audit your current alignment. So for the next week, this coming week, right? Note when you feel most alive in your work. Become conscious, right, of when you're feeling good. And at the end of the day, ask yourself, did I love what I did today? Why or why not? Write that down, right? And when you do that, those kinds of insights, those kinds of self-reflection, that really does, it offers you clues and tells you what you need to adjust in your life. So if something pulls you backwards and you don't feel alive when you're doing it, you just got to tell yourself, that's got to go. I'm not going to accept that in my life anymore. Goodbye. See you later. Sayonara. That's enough. Number 3, strategically realign your responsibilities. So whether it's through delegation or upping your skills or role design, you need to pivot your tasks. I don't really love that word pivot, but basically move your tasks towards those that align with your core strengths and your passions. So again, you stay in your lane. If it's your strength and it helps you get closer to the outcome that you're looking for, take that on. That's your role. That's your superpower. If that's not your superpower and you know there's somebody who can do the thing that you don't really like doing and they can do it well and they actually love doing it, give it to them. That is that's your partner in crime. That's the person that you need to partner with, because they're going to do that so much better, so much faster, and get the outcome that you need as a team. Number 4, set a passion-focused development goal. Declare one thing you'll take on this quarter that excites you. It also should be something that helps your team. So it might be mentoring your people. It might be a passion project that you want to work on, or even introducing a new initiative. So when you do that and you look at it and you're like, okay, this is something I'm excited about. And remembering that enthusiasm is contagious and so is the lack of it, when you come forward and you have this passion in your voice, you're going to talk a little bit faster. Your tone of your voice is going to be a little bit higher, kind of like what I'm doing now, right? The more I talk about this stuff, the more excited I get, right? People will start to pick up on that energy, and that will bleed over onto them, therefore getting the support that you need. Number 5, cultivate passion with your team. So encourage your members of your team to reflect on their strengths and passions, right? So don't keep it just to yourself. You just did your reflection time. Why not set up a team meeting where you have them do the same? Give them some quiet time to reflect on what their strengths and what their passions are. Now you can start making subtle shifts in what they do to give them more opportunities to work from that zone. Right? So many times we say, hey, I need you to do this, or I need you to do that. And we don't give a second thought as to whether or not that's one of their strengths or not. We might be delegating a task to them that they hate and they're not going to do a great job with. Whose fault is that? Right? Ours. So we have to think about, how do we get each of our team members to embrace that idea of never work a day in your life, so the entire organization thrives. And then number 6, build a culture where passion is valued. It's not just about hustle and grind and work and work and work, no pain, no gain. It's not about that. You have to get each of your team members so that they're fired up, they're passionate, where they might even take the work home with them because they're excited about it, not because they have to, but because they want to. They want to do a great job. And we've seen studies where people will do that when they're in the right role. They don't need to be micromanaged anymore. When you put them in line with what a passion is, they work on it because they like it, right? It's something that beats true in their head and in their heart, and they'll work on it regardless of whether you tell them to or not. So why does this matter now? We are in an era right now where there is so much burnout, disengagement, that this is huge. People are just checked out, and people are job hopping all over the place looking for the next best thing. And most of the time they're looking for more money, but it's not really, that may be on the surface, but really what they're saying is, I'm really not satisfied here in my job. I don't love my job. There's a lot of people who would never leave their job for more money just because they love what they're doing so much. So when we can do this, when we can start to align daily work with passion, that really can be transformational. It not only offers, or not only fosters it not only fosters fulfillment, but it also is what it takes to fuel innovation, retention, and meaningful leadership. Okay. So John reminds us that leadership isn't just about managing tasks, which is what most people do. Most people that have a title of a leader, they're not really leaders. Nobody's following them. They're just managing tasks, micromanaging what their people are doing. But what we want to do instead is we want to light a spark, because when that spark comes from genuine enthusiasm, then the possibilities, or what's possible within a company, are endless. Okay. So hope you enjoyed that lesson today. And again, last reminder, if you'd like the show notes, I put together a great leadership training worksheet on this. I also have another worksheet that's called a biblical alignment check, where it takes what John talks about and then checks it with what God has to say about work and leadership to see if it's biblically sound. If you'd like that, as well as the teaching video of today's lesson to possibly share with your team, make sure that you shoot me an email at billstorm@billstorm.com. I know that's a hard one to remember, but billstorm@billstorm.com, and I'm happy to send them your way. All right. We'll see you back next time for chapter 6.